Okay, everybody. Here's Malik. He is 2 weeks and 6 days. He'll be 3 weeks tomorrow. Um, I decided I'll do a labor and delivery story because I've never done that, and I've seen a lot of women do it, so I'm gonna do one. Basically, on Sunday, I woke up around 11 o'clock and I was having minor contractions, and I guess I should have known something was up because I had went to bed 4 o'clock that morning and I was having Braxton Hicks back to back to back to back. But I really didn't really think anything of it. So anyway, I decided that I'll just sit down and try to, write down each contraction because I didn't want to go all the way to Jamaica Hospital and then they'd be like, I think you should go home because your contractions are irregular. So I started writing them down, and they were irregular. First it would be every 5 minutes, then it would go to 7, then it would go to 11, then it would come back down to 6, and it was just all over the place. So I just laid in my bed for, a couple of hours, and then around 2 o'clock, I had called my boyfriend because he was actually out shopping on Jamaica Avenue, and I was like, you need to come home because I have to go to the hospital. So he came home, and we went straight to the hospital. Then when I got to the hospital, when I walked into labor and delivery, lady's like, "Why are you here?" I said, "I'm having contractions," and she said, "You're smiling," because they weren't really that bad, but they hurt. So she was like, "All right." So then they told me to go change my clothes, and all that, and then they put me in the bed and they hooked me up to the fetal monitor and the contraction monitor. And then, I had a midwife, so she started asking me questions, talking to me. And then she was just like, "Okay, tell me you're having a contraction." And she checked. She felt my stomach. She said, "Yep, you're having contractions." I guess maybe she thought I didn't know what contractions was. I don't know. Anyway, she's okay. Let me check you now, and we'll see if we're going to admit you. So she hold on. So she checked me to see if she was going to admit me, and she said, "Okay, you're admitted. You're 4 centimeters dilated. You're 4 centimeters dilated." So I was like, "Wow!" Just in 3 hours, I was 4 centimeters dilated. So I'm laying there, and they start asking you questions like, what's your education level, and all this crap to admit you. And my contractions started getting closer together, and now they're becoming more intense. So probably like an hour later, around three, no, probably like 2 hours later, I still wasn't admitted fully into the hospital. I still didn't even have an IV. I was like, the guy was trying to get an IV. He was a resident. He was trying to put an IV in me, but I kept having contractions. My contractions were probably coming every 2 minutes then. So every time I had a contraction, he would stop. So he was like, "All right, tell me when you're having a contraction, and I'll stop." So he kept stopping, stopping. So he never had a chance to actually get it in. So he was like, I kept saying, "I have to push, I have to push," and he kept saying, "Don't push, don't push," and I'm like, "I have to push." And mind you, I wasn't even in my room. I was still in the labor and delivery triage suite. So I'm like, "I have to push." So then another doctor was walking by, so he was like, "Let me check her real fast." So he got another nurse in, because he got another nurse in, and the nurse came in, and he checked me, and he said, "Okay, she's 9 centimeters." So they called my midwife. My midwife came, and by the time she came, I was 10 centimeters dilated. So I was ready to start pushing. So they rushed my bed to the delivery room, and it happened so fast that they didn't even have anything set up in the room. So they were rushing to get stuff set up in the room, and I don't know. I didn't even have time a for any type of epidural or anything. I had to do it all natural because it happened so fast. And believe me, I did not want to do it all natural. I was in so much pain, and it was like I wanted to cry, but tears wouldn't come down my face. That's how weird that's how much pain it was, but I couldn't get tears to come down. So I was in there, and I just started pushing. She was like, "Whenever you feel like pushing, just push." And while she's saying that, they get in the room ready. So I started pushing, and then I have to say, probably like a half an hour later, I really started feeling it, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I can't push no more." Before I was like, I'm pushing, and they were like, "Don't push." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm pushing." And then all of a sudden, I was like, "No, I can't push," because it was hurting. So, um, Oh, by the way, my sac didn't even break yet. So I had a lot of pressure in that area because I had the amniotic sac was still intact. So when I was pushing, she seen the sac and she seen some hair in there. But then they never did an ultrasound to see if he was in the right position. So they tried to hurry up and bring an ultrasound in, but by that time his head was too low for them to see where it was at. But she's like, okay, I see hair, so I guess he's head down. So I started pushing, and then when the sac started coming out, she broke the sac, and I felt a lot better. And next thing you know, I did like two more pushes, and his head was out. And then, oh wait, I'm skipping it. When she broke the sac, actually, there was slight meconium in there, which means that he released his first bowel movement. So they had to hurry. They had to call a pediatrician upstairs to the room real fast. So I pushed him out, and then he came out, and they cleared his airways and his lungs. They took like this long tube and they put some type of white fluid in it and they cleared him out. And that was about it. It was 7 pounds, 8 ounces. And that's my delivery story. It was real fast. I got to the hospital at 2. I had him at 5:26 p.m. So I wasn't in labor for that long, thank God. But I was in a lot of pain. And I mean, women out there who say they want to go all natural and do it over and over again, I tip my hat to you because that is the worst feeling in the world. It's like it's no lie. But after the funny part is that after you push the baby out and the baby comes out, you don't feel any more pain. Or at least I didn't. I didn't feel any more pain. I mean, I got up afterwards. I mean, I was feeling a little dizzy because of the blood loss, but I was able to get up and walk around, and I felt good. I mean, considering I just had a baby, and they put me actually, and they put me downstairs in a room, and actually I had to share a room, and this woman next door, not next door, but next to me, she had a C-section, and I remember all night she was just moaning, 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 and I'm like, God, you know, I could only imagine how much pain she is in. Here I am over here smiling and getting up and walking to the nursery to look at my baby. Yep, but that's my labor and delivery story. Sorry it was so long. So this is Malik again. He he just finished eating, so he's a little tired. I finally have mittens on him. He don't have socks on, because I actually found some that actually stay on, but they're not too cute. Let's see if he shows his face. There he is. He's getting so fat and chunky. He's so heavy right now, and he loves to be held. And he has a dimple. Just seen it. I think he has 2. I actually have 1 dimple. That's the funny part on my left cheek. So hopefully he has 2, because I got teased for my 1 dimple. This is my baby. He's gassy. So especially at night, he's very, very, very fussy. So it's been a little challenge for the last week, but he's getting a lot better. The doctor told me to give him half an ounce of glucose water twice a day. So I give him half an ounce of that, and it deals with his gas, and he's a much happier baby. Okay. There's Malik. Alright, and the this is about to get cut off, so I'm gonna say goodbye to y'all. Say bye, Malik. Say bye. Bye, guys.